This is the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the Hillsborough Transit Authority, HART. Welcome to the January 13th meeting. My name is Jan McLean, and I'm the Board Counsel, and I will start the meeting until a chair is elected. The meeting format is hybrid. Quorum is physically present at the HART Administrative Office at 1201 East 7th Avenue, Florida Conference Room, and the rest of the board members are participating via communication media technology. Please look at the screens on your devices. An image of the flag is displayed. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Next agenda item is public comment. I believe we didn't have anyone registered to speak. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So moving along, the first item, since we have no one registered, is the election of committee officers, which I will chair as we move forward. The process, as most of you are already familiar with, that I will ask for nominations from the floor, which do not require a second. Once nominations are closed, I will ask the committee members to vote on the nominations in order received to identify one committee member with the majority of votes. The last step will be to confirm the committee officers' elections with a motion by the board. Any questions on the process? All right. The first officer position is Chair of the Finance and Audit Committee. The 2024 Chair was Councilman Schisler. Do I have any nominations from the floor for the 25 Committee Chair, please?
Yes, ma'am. I nominate Gil Schisler.
Okay. Mr. Schisler, would you be willing to serve as Chair?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did I see a hand, Mr. Knight?
And I was going to the same thing.
Okay. Well, then could we have a vote, please, for the chair?
Director King?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. The motion is made. Staff records votes and announces. Then I will continue the elections. I'm going to do a little quicker than I was for the board. I will continue the elections for officers. The next position is Vice Chair of the Finance Audit Committee. 2024 Vice Chair was Committee Member King. Do I have nominations from the floor for the 25 Vice Chair and for the committee, please? Yes, sir?
I recommend Melanie Williams back again.
Since she's not, Melanie Williams, I don't know if she indicated whether she would accept a nomination. We usually ask whether she would.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. If. Okay.
Do we have another nomination?
I'd nominate John King.
Thank you, Mr. Schisler. Mr. King, are you willing to serve as Vice Chair?
I am.
Okay.
So would that close the nominations then, with the absence of Ms. Williams and without knowing her, having any indication as to whether she'd be willing to serve? We have Mr. King as being nominated. No second is required. Could we poll the committee members for the election and the motion, please?
Director King?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, congratulations to the committee officers, and I will now turn the remainder of the meeting over to Mr. Schisler, the chair.
Thank you, Ms. McLean. Okay, next is approval of the minutes. Excuse me, in the packet of the minutes, in your packet of the minutes from November 18th Finance and Audit Committee meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second? Second. I can second. Okay. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Committee action items. Next on the agenda are the committee action items for review by the committee for recommendation on approval by the full board of directors. Item 5A, to recommend the HART Board of Directors authorize the CEO to award a contract to Air Mechanical Service Corporation for a chiller replacement in a not-to-exceed amount of $114,589. Mr. Drainville, you're recognized to provide an overview of the item as needed.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, committee members. So Air Mechanical and Service Corporation will provide all labor, material, and equipment to remove and replace the existing McQuay chiller at the HART Operations Facility located at 4305 East 21st Avenue. Air Mechanical and Service Corporation will start up the new chiller and dispose of all existing equipment, adhering to all applicable environmental regulations and best practice to ensure responsible environmental handling of all the materials. So, and if not, I will take any questions.
Do committee members have any questions or comments? I have one, if nobody else does. Okay. We're doing a lot of these repairs and so forth. As we transition to a new building, is any of this going to be movable land, or are we going to have to buy all new stuff going forward?
This is for the actual admin building?
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking just in general.
No,
not just
so we
specifically this item.
could repurpose any new equipment that has,
Okay, good.
especially if it has an existing, or we have federal
Right.
interest on it, we would definitely incorporate that in a new building.
Okay, I was just curious. I figured we would, but I just wanted to hear that. Okay, any other questions or comments? Appear to be none. Is there a motion to recommend to the HART Board of Directors approval item 5A and advance it to the full HART Board of Directors on the February 3rd regular meeting? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, okay, we have a motion, and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Okay, thank you. And next item is item 5B. In your package is a write-up, a proposed resolution for the committee to recommend to the HART Board of Directors to authorize the CEO to award a one-year contract to Presidio Network Solutions LLC for Cisco SmartNet maintenance renewal in a not-to-exceed amount of $120,982.34. Mr. Drainville, you're recognized to provide an overview of the item.
Thank you, Chair. This contract award is for Cisco SmartNet maintenance renewal. This contract will provide essential maintenance and service for HART Cisco systems, which include all servers, routers, switches, firewalls, phone systems, interactive voice response system, and wireless access points that support our wide area networks, our local network areas, data, voice, video, and wireless infrastructure. Cisco SmartNet maintenance will ensure that the authority's network systems function properly and at peak efficiency. Cisco SmartNet maintenance is required for all Cisco components for their support.
Okay, do committee members have any questions or comments of staff? I have none either. In lieu of that, in addition to that, is there a motion to recommend to the HART Board of Directors to approve item 5B and advance to the full HART Board of the February 3rd, 2025 Board of Directors meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor? We have a motion, a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. The motion passes. Next action item for the committee to recommend to the HART Board, the CEO, authorize the CEO to submit approved fiscal year 2030 TPO, Transportation Planning Organization, Transportation Improvement TIP list of priorities. There's a write-up and a proposed resolution for this action. Mr. Drainville, you're recognized to provide an overview of this item.
Thank you. Is staff going to put the table on the screen? So each year, HART reviews the TPO tip list for list of priorities, thank you, from the previous year and makes necessary adjustments for the new fifth-year submission. These priorities are required by the TPO to be submitted on an annual basis and approved by the HART Board of Directors prior to submission by the HART CEO. HART is proposing the following TPO tip list of priorities listed in this priority order. So on the screen, you'll see the table. I believe the only new project to the list is the CAD AVO for paratransit.
Okay, do committee members have any questions or comments for staff? Now do you have questions? Okay, now this, I realize is a spreadsheet that goes year by year by year by year by year. nothing was added, this is just,
So this, I believe the CAD AVL for para was added this year, and this is specifically, we have to have any kind of grants, any projects that we plan to do have to be on the tip list for the
what to
FDOT.
happen. So this will go in this current year, or the 2025 year, or 2026, I don't know which years. I'm trying to visualize the spreadsheet, and I'm having,
Well, so Justin Willits, Director of Planning. So this is, technically, it's the new fifth year is how the TIP
Okay.
works.
So
But
we
it
get the
just,
end?
it means it's eligible for federal funding from now until that fifth year. So we just need it on the list to make sure that we're ready to.
oh, it's just the timing is irrelevant, it's just a matter of just being in there, and so it's got a placeholder.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Just one question.
Yes.
The CAD AVL is what we talked about back in September and October, when it was first presented?
If you could use your mic.
Yeah. The CAD AVL, that was what we previously talked about, and I think either September or October, and approved its.
For fixed route, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the accompanying paratransit piece, correct.
Okay.
Okay, with no further questions, is there a motion to recommend to the HART Board of Directors approve item 5C in advance to the full HART Board for the February 3rd, 2025 Board of Directors meeting? Is there a motion? Second?
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Action item 5D. Whoops. In your packet, there's a write-up, a proposed resolution for the committee to recommend to the HART Board to authorize Dustin Junta and David Yoder in the procurement department to execute purchases and enter into contracts on behalf of HART not to exceed amount of $50,000. Mr. Drainville, you're recognized to provide an overview of this item.
So the HART procurement manual establishes in section 2-100, titled Procurement Authority and Responsibility, that the Board of Directors confer by resolution of the Board of Directors general authorizations to named authority employees to execute purchases and enter into contracts on behalf of the authority. As HART's Chief Executive Officer, I recommend board authorization to delegate contracting officer authority to the named employees in the procurement department.
Okay, do committee members have any questions for staff?
Thank you. This is just really a housekeeping matter so that they don't have to come before the board for asking for every.
Yes, per the
Yeah,
procurement manual,
yeah.
yes.
So, okay, thank you.
Who had this authority prior?
So I did, a number of the procurement staff all has board approval for the contracting authority.
This just expands the
So-
people that can execute.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have any questions. Is there a motion to recommend to the HART Board approval of item 5D in advance to the full HART Board of Directors on the February 3rd, 2025 meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second? We have a motion, a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Mr. Drainville, that takes care of that. Mr. Drainville, you're recognized to share updates on the procurement monitoring reports.
So regarding sole source and task orders, there has been nothing added to the task order or sole source list since the January board meeting. Regarding solicitations, I definitely want to give a heads up. There's been a few of my directives or milestones that I think are very, very essential to HART's future. One was the CAD AVL that we have awarded to for fixed route, and then there's the paratransit. So a request for proposal solicitation will be released in January 25 this month to acquire equipment to deliver and install scheduling software, a computer-aided dispatch, automatic vehicle location management solution for HART's paratransit system, or HART Plus, and a multi-phase approach. HART will partner with a system integrator that has an extensive experience in paratransit on-demand CAD AVL system implementation. Following the completion of this paratransit management solution, HART will also incorporate in the platform 2 flex routes, South County and East Fletcher, with the ability to incorporate additional flex routes in the future. The project is expected to be completed within no more than 1 year from the notice of proceed, and the funding of this project is through an existing 5307 grant. So I wanted to make sure the committee was up to date on this milestone. And the second one is, I know some of the committee members have heard about this for years, radio integration with the county. So a request for proposal solicitation will be released again this month for a contractor to replace HART's current outdated Motorola radio system and install a communication system with a P25 800 megahertz radio equipment that integrates with the Hillsborough County network. The system will operate 10 channels on the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, 800 megahertz enhanced digital access communication system, which is a backup system for Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and Hillsborough County. The system will include hardware for 10-channel P25 Phase 2 trunked system to support general transit services. The installation will be completed in coordination with the fixed route and streetcar CAT-AVL. The conventional base station will support connectivity to HART's main campus and key transit locations and provide enhanced inoperability in the county during hurricanes and other emergencies. Funding for this project will be through an existing fully funded federal grant. So I wanted to give the committee a heads up on those two important milestones.
Any questions by the committee? I had one, item number 4, particularly when it comes to the two flex routes, South County and East Fletcher. The East Fletcher, that's the one that takes care of Hidden River and Telecom Park. How's that been impacted by the last, I know it wasn't the last one, the markup that created that flex system? Has that been impacted at all, or is the flex working, or?
So IT worked with service planning, it's probably about a year ago now,
Yeah.
to better integrate the real-time data on the flex routes through the routers to feed the applications. So the real-time availability has improved greatly. I mean, it was a real struggle when we had 4 flex routes, if you remember, about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So we've already improved with the technology that we have, but the new CAT-AVL for paratransit is going to replace most of that. It will probably be integrated similarly through the router, and I'm not going to get too far out of my lane here in IT speak, but it's improved greatly for the customer experience. Ridership is still relatively low on those routes, though.
Yeah. Well, with the capability of a flex theory, or I don't know what you call it, what about like the new Feeding Tampa Bay warehouse? Is that big enough to be included in the flex? I know we're getting off track, but I'll bring us back in a second.
So it's not close enough to a flex to provide service to it, but depending on where we land with some of the recommendations of the COA and what the pleasure of the committees and the board are, that could potentially be in an on-demand zone. So like the future evolution of flex or on-demand and how para changes or evolves, the service could be available there, but it's currently not planned or funded or scheduled to be in a zone at this time, but that could change and will probably be a topic of conversation while we refine and move the recommendations of the COA forward.
I need to talk to you about that after this meeting, so apologies. Okay, anyway. All right, any other questions or comments? How expandable is it? How many flex routes can we put on the new system?
There's not a straight answer on that because it depends on how we refine other things and how paratransit is modified or changed and what other services might accompany those changes. So it's not a clear cut.
Will we have to buy new equipment, or is that part of the analysis?
So the paratransit CAT-AVL is going to provide us the equipment and the technology to deliver a better on-demand service and flex service. Where that service goes is the uncertainty at this point.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, cool. Any other comments or questions? Okay, there's no action on that, so this concludes the regular business of the meeting. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Mr. Drainville, I think you have an item?
I do, thank you, Chair. So back in 2021, HART received a Section 5307 competitive grant award from the FTA in the amount of $4,863,280. That requires a 20% local match. This was a joint grant application from Hillsborough County and HART. HART was as the recipient of federal funding. This funding was specifically to procure a vessel. In August of 2023, the Hillsborough County Commissioners voted to end a public-private partnership aiming to implement a commuter ferry in the southern portion of Hillsborough County. HART has no plans or funds to move forward with this project, and the HART Board of Directors voted to remove the ferry from the TDP tip list back in 2024. So in the last few months, the CEO from PSC, Brad Miller, had reached out to me to see if we would be interested in transferring that grant award to them and keeping the funds in the Tampa Bay region. So this Thursday, January 16th, HART and PSC staff will be meeting with the Federal Transit Administration to confirm if that transfer can even be made. So if the FDA confirms that the transfer is possible, the next steps would be, I would ask PSDA staff or CEO to come in front of the HART board to request from the board that we could actually transfer this grant to PSDA. So I definitely wanted to bring this to the committee's attention. So after Thursday, I'll know more if we can actually transfer this grant. And then the next steps would be I would talk to the staff or the CEO of PSA to come forward to the board and request that transfer, so.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Does that hurt us
So
philosophically?
I think it hurts us if we continually put grant applications to the FDA and do not utilize the money. Absolutely, I think that, puts a bad light on us. I think this could be an opportunity that we keep the funds in the region. So I'll definitely have those conversations with FDA and ask those questions. But I believe that over the years, we've been putting in for a lot of applications, and for whatever reason, we don't have the match money. Doesn't put a good light on HART. So we want to be very strategic on what we're applying for.
That's the second one that I'm aware of, that I can think off the top of my head. That one, the electric buses.
That's correct. That's
$5 million
correct.
for that. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't hurt us, just the fact that we can move it. Okay. Any other new business? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.